New at 10, a strange sighting is baffling Hill Country Village residents tonight. This creature was caught on camera at a Northside neighborhood.
This is Mokele-mbembe, also known as the last living dinosaur. It is said to inhabit the Congolese forests, swamps, rivers, and lakes.
Is a strange alien-looking creature prowling in northern New Mexico? A Facebook picture circulating yesterday sure has a lot of people up there worried.
Here in DeWitt County, most people are convinced this is the elusive chupacabra.
Do you believe in the unknown or in the inexplicable? While we think jungles are a way to connect to Mother Nature, we're not the only ones seeking a connection. Deep in the woods, hiding behind the shadows, lie creatures that defy reality. And today, we're searching them out. El Chupacabra, one of the most vicious and formidable creatures of folklore and mythology. For a long time, we all just laughed at the idea of the Chupacabra. But what would you do if you saw something that proves it exists? Yep, this was found by a local somewhere in Venezuela, and it's promising us a possibility that all those creatures we thought didn't exist are actually roaming the world, hidden from plain sight. Well, as for this specific creature, you'd think it's a dog or maybe a deformed goat or some sort of recognizable animal carcass. But the biologists who examined it later claimed this creature was a big mystery to them, too. Woodland creature. The Rake is an unusually tall, pale, hairless, and lanky creature with demonic intentions. Despite having a humanoid figure, the Rake has no achievable traits. It chooses to crawl instead of walk, and speaks nothing. And here is one that's latching onto a tree for God knows what reason. And yes, that should be the cue for everyone involved to leave. And I don't even want to pretend to care about what it's doing in the middle of the woods. I'd be too busy screaming for my life. Hut Rake. An abandoned hut in the middle of a forest. What could be more nightmare-inducing than that, right? Well, take a look for yourself. I don't know what to call the person who willingly pushed in the door to this old hut. Stupid or brave? But he ended up literally opening a door to madness. Ahead awaited a creature that's tall and lanky, boasting no discernible features. And to make things worse, the creature chose to crawl instead of walk. Many theorize this is the Rake, and it happened back in 2015. But the location of the hut nor the identities of the person and the creature have never been released. Hunger's plight. Stranger things have opened the door to a whole new world of possible creatures. But for the most part, we know they're just a figment of imagination. And yet, here we are, facing a creature that resembles something you'd find at a TV show, squelching and evidently breathing. The creature laying on the ground would almost fool you into thinking it's some sort of tentacled animal, but with a hunger for deer. The creature is believed to be the result of a secret project, perhaps led by the local government. Why? We don't know. And if there's one thing I do know, it's that some things are better left unanswered. Kongamato. Shit! What the f? The Kongamato, a creature resembling a pterodactyl, has routinely been spotted soaring over the forests of Zambia, Angola, and Congo. Of course, despite these sightings, not everyone believes the Kongamato exists. For decades, people have brushed off these sightings, thinking they saw a large bird of prey filmed at an odd angle. But this video here might change your mind.
Shit! What the f***?
Look closely, and you'll notice the reddish tint on the insides of its wings, one that the Kongamato used to sport. Now, I'm no animal expert, but this doesn't really look like your everyday eagle. Witnesses are now citing its wingspan and eerie flight to prove the Kongamato is more than just a rare myth.
Shit! What the f***?
Hell's Hitchhiker. Forests don't need the night to scare the ever-living daylights out of you. Some creatures are bold enough to appear even in broad daylight, initially mistaken as a bird like a harpy eagle, and then as an animal, and then as a man donning a suit. This creature has spurred a lot of talk, but it's neither, and that's what makes it absolutely terrifying. Well, at least it looks a bit down. Hopefully it's too upset to tackle unsuspecting people. Raptor.
Holy shit.
During a nighttime expedition in the South African wilderness, a group led by a wildlife ranger encountered an unexpected sight. As they strolled along an open trail, a swift creature bolted past them. Reviewing the footage later, they discovered a creature resembling a dinosaur, sparking speculation about a possible Congo raptor. Supposedly extinct for centuries, the Congo raptor was rumored to be the last surviving raptor dinosaur in the DRC. Its sudden appearance has prompted discussions about whether this species had somehow persisted in the jungle, defying extinction and possibly continuing to live in all its glory in the jungle. Knowing how dense it is, it's possible it stayed off radar just because of that.
Holy shit.
Crawling anomaly. When the sun has set and there's not a single soul in sight, dark, mysterious creatures emerge from the depths to finally take charge. This one, presumably caught on a camera left mounted by an explorer to an open pathway, seems to be simply crossing the floor. But knowing that this creature chose to appear when it was all still suggests that it had no ordinary intentions. Plus, when you pay a little extra attention to its physique, you'll notice it's not just some man trying to appear like a mysterious creature for likes, as some people suggested. Its body is far too long and thin. So maybe, just maybe, we're really looking at a haunting mystery here. I am Groot. If you thought Groot is just a figment of, well, the Avengers, you're wrong. While it's pretty amazing to imagine a creature that's fashioned entirely out of wood to literally uproot itself and come to life, one video that's making rounds on the internet suggests that it's possible. Filmed somewhere in a forest in Africa, this woody creature quickly makes itself known, and its mere presence is enough to convince us that Groot really does exist. Locked in an intense stare down with the anonymous person who recorded it, the creature seems to be standing its ground, as if the slightest movement could put its entirety in jeopardy. Wendigo spotted. An evil spirit with a tall, dark figure, a faceless face, and antler-like horns atop its head. The Wendigo is a nightmarish presence that haunts many regions. But for most of its existence, the Wendigo has evaded capture. Now, I don't know who captured it, but it's rumored that whoever it was chose to remain anonymous out of fear. The Wendigo was firstly seen in this dry area, but it might have escaped from much more lush lands. Well, this one might not be so terrifying, but maybe that's how it usually gets its victims. Congo T-Rex. Deep inside the Congo's dense jungles, a peculiar creature is rumored to have lived for more than several centuries. While we believe dinosaurs went extinct a long time ago, a flurry of sightings have haunted the Congo jungle for ages. These sightings describe seeing a particular reptilian creature, one that resembles the T-Rex but is much smaller in comparison. Dubbed the Congo T-Rex, this creature might have escaped everyone's eyes thanks to the dense trees. But now that we've got visual confirmation, thanks to an explorer who stationed a couple of motion-sensing cameras in the jungle, believing in the Congo T-Rex is the only option we have. Skunk ape. It's not only the impenetrable trees of the Congo that hold mysteries, but the motherland too. That's right, back in the early 2000s, we caught a glimpse of a creature wading through the thick grass just on the outskirts of a forest in Florida. Its height alone debunked the "it's a man in a suit" theory. But it's not a Bigfoot like you think, but another similar creature dubbed the skunk ape. The skunk ape only made itself visible once on camera, but has been the topic of many reported sightings since. Gold's Guard. The DRC has an intense gold mining industry, so we think we know all about its secrets. But despite being heavily guarded, its gold mines have hidden one thing nobody knows. Take a look at what's rumored to be the creature that lurks in the gold mine. Captured by an unnamed gold miner, this creature was seen overlooking the mounds that lead to the gold. Theories claim that this creature is actually some sort of divine entity that ensures nobody exploits the area, and that once people leave its reign, they forget it even existed, which explains why we haven't heard of it before. Mokele-mbembe. Forget the Loch Ness Monster. The Congo's got its own reptilian myth. The Mokele-mbembe is a type of dinosaur that is native to the Congo and predominantly lived in the waters close to the national jungle. That might explain why the Mokele-mbembe hasn't made the news yet. Nobody traverses the Congo's jungle, let alone explore its muddy water bodies. It also explains why one of the only pieces of footage we have dates back a couple of years, which clearly shows something moving in the murky waters. And here's another alleged encounter, although we don't know when this happened or if it's something believable. Creepy cryptid.
What the what the what the
What is it with people and their willingness to enter unknown territories? And that too at night with nothing but a measly flashlight between them and danger. Well, one guy's about to find out what really happens when you go exploring out on a whim. Just behind the tree, some creature stares at the recorder, who finally gets a hold of sense, drops everything, and runs. Now, many are wondering if this was just a mountain lion interaction, but judging by the height and the fact the person was well and alive enough to upload this, I'm a bit doubtful.
What the what the what the
Albino Bigfoot. Many Bigfoot enthusiasts keep an eye out for the elusive brown-haired giant, but maybe we've been focusing on the wrong thing all this time. Yep, what you're seeing here isn't just a Bigfoot, it's a white one. And I don't mean to say anything other than this could be an albino Bigfoot, and we could have focused entirely on capturing it instead of the one that can easily escape our eyes. Sadly, the people who encountered this Bigfoot were so startled, they didn't even think twice before running away. Skinwalker's terrain. You know what's really dumb? Willingly stepping foot into an impenetrable jungle close to midnight, equipped with nothing but a flashlight. I don't know what this person was thinking, or if he was thinking at all, but clearly whatever he found waiting at the end of the rainbow is his own mistake. Leaning into a pond or a puddle, the creature turned back as if enraged at being discovered, and then, with a split second, it began to chase. Thankfully, the recorder had the quick sense to leave. But boy, imagine what could have gone wrong. The creature is possibly a skinwalker, one that's just finished its transformation. So you know it was hungry for revenge. Mysterious crawler. In the dark of the night, as one brave man decided to explore part of a jungle that had long been sectioned off, he found a path leading ahead. Following like any person would, he continued ahead, only to see the silhouette of a giant dog slowly moving at the front. But then, he soon realized this was no dog. As unusual as it sounds, the creature wasn't even an animal, but seemed to have a slightly humanoid form. Positioned on all fours, the creature was crossing the pathway to move into the dense part of the jungle. Just as it reaches the middle, you can see it's long and thin. So many think it could be a skinwalker. Skinwalker sighted. Have you ever seen something that not only defies sense and logic, but completely leaves you bewildered and possibly traumatized? While jungles and forests are usually known for their terrifying animal habitation, we're now seeing more and more creatures spun out of folklore and mystery take the stage. We don't know what this creature is, but it is clearly something sinister. Many believe it could be the Aswang, a shape-shifting monster that devours humans. It's known to drop out of nowhere and tackle unsuspecting victims out of nowhere. Perhaps this one wasn't fully transformed yet, so it easily skipped out on a possible meal. Soul Sucker.
The heck is that?
Alright, I know it's dark, but hold on. There's something really suspicious and freaky going on. Yep, just as the camera pans in, whatever's hiding behind the shadows looks up. And it's a creature with glowing eyes, a humanoid body, and yet a physique so alien you can't help but have goosebumps all over your arms when you see it. Dashing for their safety, the person recording the creature managed to get away. But what on earth was that creature? An alien? Some type of mythological being? And why was it bent over, sipping over some animal's remains? Ugh, I don't even want to think anymore.
The heck is that?
Demon.
پشمام این چیه؟
When you see bright, glowing eyes in the pitch dark, it's a sign that you should run and never look back. This happened just close to the mountains in the DRC, where some locals encountered some type of creature staring at them from above. For the first few seconds, they were sure it was some animal, but they realized the eyes were positioned at an impressive height, suggesting the creature wasn't an animal at all. Perhaps some type of demon that was waiting for them to come up. Either way, they're really lucky they managed to escape. The Jinny. If you thought Bruhas are scary, imagine a Jinny, a female jinn, a creature blessed with extraordinary powers that can transform into anything. A jinn is usually invisible to the naked eye, but should they choose to transform and take shape, they appear in all their glory. This one might have taken a liking to a Bruha, which is why she's moving and limping exactly like one. But fascination or not, suddenly encountering this evil creature when you're traversing a thick jungle in the middle of nowhere with just one road, yeah, that's a sight that could scare even the bravest like Chuck Norris enough to step on the gas pedal and reverse the heck out of there. Arthropleura. The Arthropleura is an extinct species of gigantic millipede that lived some 345 to 290 million years ago. Like we've said before, the Arthropleura hasn't been seen except for in broken fossils. But now we're seeing history literally coming back to life. This creature you're seeing is the millipede ancestor that went extinct millennia ago. So how did it suddenly emerge? While we're quick to label everything as a hoax, you might consider that it isn't unusual for old species to be brought back. This might be the result of some unforsaken experiment, perhaps by a mad scientist. Who knows? Taken. In the middle of nowhere is a creature resembling a human, and yet so disturbingly different that you know it's something fashioned out of pure chaos and nightmare. We don't know where exactly the video was taken, or what is really going on, but it seems like someone, possibly an explorer of some sort, managed to record a creature that was relying on the darkness to hide. For a split second, the creature clearly looks at the recording person, but then the video switches off. Here, we see a flurry of theories, but most suggest the recorder was taken by the mysterious creature. The Nightcrawlers. Nightcrawlers are vicious creatures that do exactly what their name suggests. They appear in the dark of the night, seemingly haunting the lands where they live. It is believed Nightcrawlers are 8 feet tall, but with no apparent face or body. From a distance, you'd even think it's a pair of long sticks walking along the road, with thin, white sheets draped over their ends. The idea of Nightcrawlers is so alien, we don't really have any myths or even folklore to suggest they exist. And yet, judging solely from the physique, the stature, and the gait, you know these creatures very much exist, and have a certain fondness for walking hauntingly from dusk till dawn. Ginger's anomaly. We think exploring dense jungles in remote parts of the world will reveal terrifying secrets. Heck, we even expect monsters. But you might see something that's so absurd, you'll be scratching your head trying to figure out what it is. Now, I know from a distance it looks like some gingerbread man, but there's a chance this is genuinely some type of mysterious civilization that thrives in the Congo. After all, who wouldn't want to live so far off from humanity that you get to make your own world? But while we learn about these creatures, I can't help but wonder if there are many more like these all over the world. The Sigbin. The Sigbin is a creature born from Filipino mythology, resembling a hornless goat with large ears and almost human-like skin. The Sigbin usually stays within the Philippines, but there's nothing that suggests it can't be found in other places too. Recently, a video made allegedly by an explorer going through the worn-out remains of an old shed in a jungle has been making the rounds, because it shows a creature remarkably similar to the Sigbin. Though it only records for a split second, you can tell this isn't just some hapless puppy or some creature we know to exist cowering for cover. Aliens' woes. This is something nobody wants to encounter when they're out exploring the vastness of a forest. Yep, look a little closely, and you'll see that there's some sort of alien creature peeking from behind the tall grass. As crazy as it sounds, we've already checked off aliens from the 2024 bingo list, so it's not like this is anything new. Although seeing one try to hide in the wilderness only makes me wonder how many more species there are, which have already successfully hid themselves around us. And yet, we have no clue. Creep galore. Thin, scrawny, and covered head to toe in dust, these creatures naturally made one duo's trip into the unknown even more riveting. These tourists had set out to explore some of the remotest parts of the world, and unexpectedly found these humanoid creatures. We can't say they're just humans donning a suit and a mask because of their physique. These creatures couldn't have been humans. But that raises the age-old question. If not man, what are they? Well, they could be a special race of humans that has successfully kept itself hidden, or it could be an extraterrestrial one. The possibilities are scarily endless. Witches crawl. Well, this is something nobody wants to see when they're out fishing. Camped out by a lake, a couple of explorers decided to fish around for food, only to be interrupted when some sort of creature suddenly emerged from the waves. Terrified, they all backed away, thinking maybe it was an animal, but it soon revealed to be a woman, or at least what looks like one. She lunged toward them, making all of them quickly retreat back to where they came from. A ghost or some sort of evil witch? You decide which one's more likely to be this creature. Hybrid werewolf. Being part wolf, part man is a concept we've seen in movies far too many times. And yet, while we think this is just a myth, we're seeing proof otherwise. Now, I don't know what this creature really is, but it genuinely looks like an over-muscled werewolf. Maybe this is what happens when a man bites the wolf instead of the other way around. But all jokes aside, seeing something this humongous and seething with anger at that in the middle of the friggin' forest would send us normal people to the Grim Reaper's doors. And this is yet another warning to stay away from places that we don't know much about. The Bushman. Squint your eyes a little bit and you'll see a tall, dark, hairy figure waiting across the screen. This is no ordinary sighting. This creature is believed to be a Bushman, a creature born out of myth, and yet seen here walking in reality. Many akin the Bushman to a Bigfoot, but that's not true. Bushmen are rumored to be similar, but an entirely different species, and appear so infrequently that they're often tied to Bigfoot sightings. Well, Bigfoot or Bushman, it doesn't really matter, because in the end, it's still one being you don't want to see anywhere. Forest Bruha. One of the spookiest things about witchcraft is that you never really believe it's true until you encounter someone who's an expert at it. So naturally, seeing a bent, worn-out figure dressed in rags with long tresses at front and creepily moving towards you would scare the living lights out of anyone. This is apparently a Bruha, a witch that usually stalks Mexico, but is here continents away as if she'd always ruled the area. Maybe that's part of the power of the Bruha. These witches might be found in all parts of the world, but we've been way too careless to realize. Alien passenger. Alright, I know how this looks. You're probably thinking this is nothing but a clever editing trick, but we've got a lot of proof to back this up. Firstly, it's not that crazy to see some sort of alien creature lurking in the woods, because if I belonged to a super intelligent race, I'd hide in the dense unknowns of trees too. Secondly, we already know aliens exist. We've literally had the Congress backing this up, so the idea isn't that far off from reality. Thirdly, and most importantly, a few experts did look into this visual, but they haven't been able to disprove it, which means whatever we're looking at really did happen, and it's time to believe in aliens. Extraterrestrial getaway. Why would intelligent aliens be just running around the woods? I'm sure this is a question that's crossed everyone's mind, and it's also why most alien videos are quickly debunked. But if we pay a little more attention, we realize the answer's been under our noses all this time. This alien creature was allegedly captured by an understandably frazzled hiker who got lost in the woods. The alien might have been chasing the hiker, but for some reason retreated. But that's not the main point. You see, aliens have a very low chance of being seen in dense jungles and can easily evade capture. So maybe they've set up their bases in the woods. What do you think? Mud's mystery.
Told y'all there was something f***ing out here.
Holy shit.
After repeatedly hearing weird noises coming out from the woods behind his backyard, one man finally decided to put a stop to things. But he wasn't expecting to meet a figure he wouldn't have thought existed. As it carefully waded through the dense trees, the creature almost went unnoticed. It was as if it had masterfully learned the art of keeping a low disguise, which suggests that not only did this creature have a habit of passing through, but it managed to escape the homeowner's eyes every time. Well, what is it? The formidable skunk ape? The infamous Bigfoot? Or something completely different? That's the thing. Nobody knows.
We gotta get open.
Hit him. Hit them.
No wall. You probably think this is just a man quickly darting across the woods. But what if he's no man nor animal? Although it's already adopted an impressive humanoid look, it's fooling nobody. It's possibly the Nagual or Nawal, a human being with the power to shapeshift into an animal counterpart. But here's the thing, sometimes transitions aren't easy. If they fail, the human might be cursed to spend the rest of his life as a humanoid. That seems to be the case here, especially when you consider the style and speed of walking. Danger silhouette. One of the biggest reasons places like jungles are terrifying is because when it's pitch dark, you never know what's coming, even through a camera equipped to handle darkness. Yup, that's right. Somewhere in the abyss you're seeing lies a creature, possibly waiting for its victim. Just as the moment's right, it slowly darts ahead, as if waiting to tackle whomever walks into its trap. But thankfully, whoever was recording this was able to sense its presence. If they hadn't, who knows what would have happened? We don't even know what kind of creature this is, much less what it's capable of. Ghostly presence. You ever wonder why some places are closed for exploration at night? Well, one theory states that many places are actually homes to mythical creatures who are all looking for the chance to come out. So when the sun sets, they appear in all their glory. But if you're a pesky explorer with a few tricks up your sleeve, you might end up exploring a forested trail that holds such creatures. Now, we don't know for sure what that creature is, but it seems to be a cross between a ghost and a skinwalker. But guess what? We're not that eager about finding out. Rake's fright. If horror movies have taught us anything, it's that sitting in a car won't protect you. So we should consider these folks really lucky because they possibly came in contact with a rake, a pale creature that might look too lanky to be dangerous, but it's got a penchant for humans that puts us all in danger. The rake had been hiding in some tall grass just a short distance from a forest, possibly waiting to loom just as an unsuspecting victim passed by. Being in a car might have saved their lives this time, but doesn't guarantee what's going to happen tomorrow. Shape-shifting Wendigo. Wendigos, one of the most terrifying creatures to exist, and what makes them scary is that you can never really predict what it's going to look like, so you're always in for a shocker. This is supposedly a female Wendigo, and that's a sight that's as rare as it gets, even for a Wendigo. The snow might explain why this Wendigo's looking around. The trees aren't thick enough to hide it, and the snow too obvious to give its position away. Well, let's hope summer came soon, because seeing this wouldn't please anybody. Dogman. Remember the Michigan dogman? A canine-like creature with a man's torso and a dog's howl? We all laughed it away. But now we're seeing a creature that resembles the dogman, and it's out in the open, so you know it's not afraid of anything. Although quickly mistaken for a dog, this creature actually has a humanoid face if you focus enough. Many think it could be a skinwalker mid-transition, or the elusive dogman. But there isn't really any clue about where this was taken, or what it is. Mystery abound. Cryptids are seriously beginning to make life difficult. I mean, why are they suddenly appearing out of the blue? Do they have some ominous adventure planned? I'm not really too eager for that. And to make matters worse, we can't even identify what this creature is. It looks like a rake, or a Wendigo and a skinwalker at the same time. So we're in for a lot of trouble. Let's hope whoever recorded this was smart enough to leave the scene when it called for it. Otherwise, they're probably in deep shit. Bigfoot's terror.
Do you see that? I'm afraid.
We've hunted wide and low for the elusive Bigfoot, so much that it's starting to avoid us. This fellow was trying to slowly sneak into the forest, but sensed it was being filmed. Well, we're all a little camera shy, but to see a creepy creature like this is unnerving. It seems the Bigfoot was trying to intimidate the recorder, even though it was standing eerily still. But the tactic might have worked, because that hairy creature was able to go off into the unknown without someone following it.
Oh my God.
Open discussion. We've only seen proof of the chupacabra in forms like a carcass or a blurry sighting, but we're bringing you one that's truly going to change everything. That's right, with one look, you know this isn't a regular dog or even some other animal. It was seen dipping back into the forest later, and that brings up a whole new world of terrifying possibilities. Does this mean all forests and jungles around the world hold creatures like these? Ugh, that's a Pandora's box I'm not sure I want to open.